You're listening to the Full Court Press podcast, hosted by Drew Duncan. Don't you dare touch that dial.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Full Court Press. I'm your host, Andrew Duncan. You guys are checking me out live on 95.9 FM KSUN Radio here in Wichita, Kansas. Don't forget, you can always be a part of the program by tweeting me. That's at DrewDuncan83. You can also check out the official fan page of Full Court Press on Facebook. Drop me a line over there. Either way, get your comments read live, or you can vocalize your opinion. 316-351-7397. That's 316-351-7397. All right, everybody, we've been talking about it. These ladies, these muscle fitness bound women, they are getting ready for a phenomenal opportunity. All of them from right here in Wichita, Kansas. And of course, you know, here's the thing, right? We've been talking about this thing. Make sure that when you find out when it's on, go and watch the reality TV series. It's going to be awesome. It's all being filmed right here in Wichita, Kansas. A lot of them are doing the competitions coming up on May 14th. Our next guest, however, in addition to doing the reality show, is actually going to be making her WBFF pro debut in LA. She just got back from Kansas City from doing an amazing photo shoot up there. Everybody, please welcome to the program, Andrea Gerringer.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing? You doing good?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, how you feeling about that intro I gave you right there? I feel like maybe I didn't amp you up good enough.
I think you handled it pretty well.
Did I do okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty modest, so that was good enough.
That is awesome. So, Andrea, how long have you been doing this? You know, the weightlifting and the physique and all that?
Well, I've kind of always been an active person. I ran cross country and played soccer, all through my youth and high school, and, played soccer here locally up until about 9 months ago. I took a break because it was really hard to maintain the fitness lifestyle and getting injured playing soccer. But I started competing 2.5 years ago. I met with Heather Clausen, she's my trainer, and became a member of the Clausen Iron Athletes. My first show was with the WBFF in Denver. I did third in bikini. And then last year, I started prep again. And in the May 14th show here with the NPC, I took first in the novice class. And then I took second in the open. And that was my first show with NPC. Then I went on to Kansas City again 2 weeks later and got my pro card with the WBFF in the fitness category.
So now what does it take to reach pro status? I mean, how does one get from amateur to pro in your line of work?
You have to win a show.
Now, just a show or multiple shows?
You have to win a show, and they have to award you a pro card. Not everybody that wins is awarded a pro card. If you have the physique and you have the stage presence that they feel is worthy of a pro card, you will earn your pro card. There are times where sometimes first and second place both get a pro card if they feel the women or the men are fully capable of taking it to the next level and competing as a pro.
You know, when it comes down to along those lines, I was watching Generation Iron, as you and I were talking about before we got on the air. One of the things that I noticed that really stood out to me was one of the main gentlemen in that Generation Iron had made mention. He said, look, man, a lot of guys look similar. You know, the judges on any given day, it just could be a personality thing. It could be any number of things that suddenly separate you from one guy from the next. Do you feel that it's the same way when you're being judged as a lady up there as well? I mean, do you feel that your physique and all that is very similar to a lot of other ladies' builds, or do you feel that with women it's easier to be more defined and set apart in terms of how your body looks?
Absolutely. There's so many amazing looking women on that stage. Every time I've competed, it's never been looking at the competition saying, oh, I have this. No, that's never the case. Everybody on that stage, or almost everybody, puts in the hard work. They do what it takes to get there, and it's time, meal prepping, in and out of the gym, staying on your diet, which can be a struggle sometimes, and just making sure you leave nothing left when you're done. The hardest part is probably just making sure that your nerves are at bay when you're on stage, right, and just feeling comfortable up there. That's one thing about posing practice and making sure you're comfortable with your walk, and you walk with the confidence, and you show a strength or you show something inside of you that shows the judges your personality, which can be a challenge when you're stuck to 3 or 4 different poses. And a lot of the girls do the same thing. So it all comes down to, sometimes the judges like blondes, sometimes they like brunettes. I mean, it goes down to little things like that. It could be your tan. It could be your makeup. It could be how your hair is styled. There's so many different factors. And sometimes it's just whatever the judges like that day. And, you know, it's very subjective, just like anything. So you just have to do your best.
Now, let me ask you this, because you're talking about your meal prep and your dieting. I think that there's a lot of people out there with the misconception of, if I lift weights like this and I exercise really hard, I should be able to eat whatever I want because I'm still going to be healthy just because I exercise. What would you say to somebody like that, especially when you put so much thought into your meal plan every single day?
I would say some people are fully capable of doing that, but they have some really good genes. Personally, when I'm not on my diet, I can put on some weight pretty quickly, even though I'm in the gym and I'm working out hard. You know, maintaining a healthy lifestyle is more a focus that I have in my everyday life. My competition diet isn't something that every single person should do. I get down to 5 to 6% body fat. It's really not healthy for women to be that low. We're only there for, 8 to 10 weeks maybe when you're coming in and coming back out. That's not something an average person needs to strive for or achieve for. So the person who says, yeah, as long as I'm in the gym and I work out and I can eat whatever I want, to some degree, I understand where you're coming from, but you still need to make those healthy eating choices. There's nothing wrong with eating a cheeseburger or pizza, 1 or 2 days a week. But as long as you're on that diet and you're doing what it takes the other days and the other meals throughout the week, and you're eating your breakfast in the morning and you're getting your protein in, and you're not overdoing your complex carbs, which is like your breads and your grains and your oatmeal, all that fun stuff that women really enjoy, the garlic bread and pasta. But, as long as you're controlling and you're just conscious of what you're eating, that's more like a life-term goal as opposed to sticking to a competition diet, because it is very strict and it does take a lot of time to prepare. But my life is easy throughout the week. I don't only have to cook like 1 or 2 days a week and I'm done. So it's kind of nice. It's very convenient. And I have 2 boys and they eat what I eat. So I'm not only healthy for myself, but I'm teaching them how to maintain that same healthy lifestyle. So it's a win-win for everybody in my house.
Along those lines of, your meal prep, and I've seen you on Snapchat, I mean, grilling up like 15 things of chicken breast right there on the spot. It's expensive in a way to have a healthier diet. What would you tell somebody who says, look, I want to be able to eat better, but I just can't because I simply cannot afford organic food, or I can't afford to buy that much chicken or fish? What are some things that person can do to, kind of be along the lines of a healthier diet, but still be able to kind of cheat more maybe than the average bear?
I would ask them how many times they eat out a week to begin with. Because sometimes you go out to eat, even if it's just for yourself, or if you have a family and you have kids, you're spending, if you're yourself, at least $7 to $8 a meal. And if you're feeding a family, anywhere from $20 to $40 to $50, sometimes $100 if you're going to a restaurant. So I would ask, how much money do you spend going out to eat? And then look at that and say, okay, now if you spent that much going out to eat, take that and go to the grocery store and what you would have normally spent and see how much money you save. And if you prepare your meals in advance, you're going to be fully aware of, I have food at home, so you guys can wait 15 minutes till we walk in the door to eat something there. And a lot of it's just being prepared. I keep a 6-pack bag in my car. It goes with me everywhere I go, and my meals are with me. And there's usually meals for my children. and stuff that we can all eat, so that I don't have the urge to go out to eat and spend the money on something that's probably not the best for me, although you can make smarter choices when you go out to eat, which I tend to do with my children, and they're used to it now. But it's just being prepared. And I would say, I mean, Dylan's has chicken for $1.99 a pound with a Plus card. That is the cheapest form of lean protein that you can find right now in the stores. So those are just excuses I think people make because they don't want to do the work it takes. I cook 2 days a week. I cook on Sundays or Mondays or whatever evening I have. It takes me about an hour and a half to prepare meals for at least 6 or 7 days.
And you're speaking from the standpoint of you are a single mother.
I am a single mother.
Is that
yes,
correct? So
I
you
am. Do it on my own.
There you go. I mean, now, and you say you've got kids. How old are your kids?
My kids are 8 and 4.
8 and 4. And when do you got girls, boys?
2 boys, and they are
Wow.
Tonka trucks.
Really?
Yes.
So they're just big, beastie dudes.
Or boys.
Well, boys.
They destruct everything. But hey.
Have you had the crayon writing on the wall?
We've had crayon writing, Sharpies, car paint, fingernail polish, the whole 9 yards.
What are they doing with your fingernail polish, man?
They paint Hot Wheels when they get scratched.
I can make it blue again, I promise.
Or change the color completely because
man.
I don't like the yellow pinstripe, Mom. So I'm going to paint it black and match the car.
That is awesome. So now the 8-year-old, I take it, is in school?
Yes, he's the second grader.
Oh, my goodness. We're not getting any younger.
No.
I mean, because I got an 11 and a 10-year-old, man. I'm telling you, it's just like... Whew.
Every day they grow so much. And you're like, when did you say that? And why do you sound like me?
Yeah, right? And what's crazy is when you listen to a kid, even a 4-year-old like you've got, you listen and how adult sometimes
they sound.
They already, it's like, really? Like, where did you come up with that? Who said that in front of you? Did I do that?
Yeah, it was probably me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know where to go with that. I mean, now, outside of, the WBFF thing that you got going on, you've been doing the modeling thing. Do you have a regular 8 to 5, or is this how
I do?
how you do your thing?
I work as an accountant. I'm the senior accountant at Genesis Health Clubs.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of convenient because I'm able to work out on
Little
my
bit.
lunch break. Same
Little
location. Even if I didn't, though, I would still make that time. That's the only time I have
Right.
with my children full time. By the time I get off, or we have soccer practice, or whatever events we have going on for the evening, is that lunch break. I capitalize on the time I do have to go to the gym, and that's my priority.
I think it sounds to me like basically, if I had to say that there's a message in that, it's, hey, look, I'm a single mom. I know what this is like. If you could say anything out there right now to a single mother who might be listening to you, what would you tell that person to encourage them and motivate them that, hey, you can do this?
I would say I understand everything and all of the challenges that you face. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle makes me a better mother to my children. They enjoy going to the gym and playing in the daycare with the other kids. They ask me to go to the gym to play with the other children. So I get 2 birds with one stone. I get a break for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes from them when they're driving me crazy in the afternoon. Because, hey, let's be honest, kids drive us nuts sometimes. And when I'm happier about myself, I'm happier with them. Not only that, but I'm teaching them to make themselves a priority. And it teaches them to have an active, healthy lifestyle. And it teaches them to eat correctly. Yes, sometimes, they are like, Mom, really? Chicken and broccoli again? Okay, sometimes I make them whatever they want. And I'm nice. I'm not that mean. But,
Not that mean. Yeah.
I mean, we do alternatives so that they know that things are healthier. So not only does it make you happier about yourself, it gives you more confidence. And being a single mother, it's a challenge every day. And when you're releasing those endorphins from working out, it just carries on through every other aspect of your life. And when you're able to go outside and be active with your children without getting exhausted, or you're able to say, okay, guys, let's do a push-up challenge, or hey, guys, let's see who can race across the backyard the fastest. And your children see you push yourself. Whether we know it or not, we're teaching them to push themselves. So it carries on to all aspects of their life. And to me, that's one of the biggest feats. My 4-year-old calls me Wonder Woman Mommy.
Aww.
And when he sees me as a superhero, that lets me know I'm doing something right. And if there's anything as a mother, single or not, for your children to look to you for respect, and especially having young boys, young girls, is to learn I need to have self-respect and self-confidence in myself. That's what you're teaching them if you have young girls. If you have young boys, you're teaching them to respect women, and you're teaching them that it's okay for you to take care of yourself and your body, and that, you know, mommy has to have time for her. Mommy also has time for you. You know, when I'm at the gym for 2 hours, when we get done, we go to a park, or if it's cold, we go do something so that they don't feel like the gym consumes my life. Or sometimes we just go rent a movie and go home because that's what they like to do. So it's just finding that balance in everything. And, you know, it is hard sometimes. And you have to really schedule and look at your week and say, okay, what time am I going to have to get into the gym today? For example, today I had a soccer game at 8:30 in the morning for one of my children. I got done. My next soccer game wasn't until 12:30. So I took that hour and a half I had between the two soccer games to go to the gym. So I capitalized on that hour and a half I had to make sure I'm still accomplishing my goals and I'm still doing exactly what I need to be there for them, which it takes a lot of time to figure that out. But once you get it, it's down, and, you know, the sky's the limit for what you can accomplish. And just pushing yourself, you know, in all aspects and all areas of your life is one of the most important things that I think we can teach our children. So to me, that's what my lifestyle and the decision I made when I decided to be a fitness competitor, that's what it was for. Maybe not when I started, but now that I see the results and I see how they look at me, and when I'm at my son's soccer practice in a tank top and all the boys are like, wow, Nathan, your mom is strong. And they look at me in amazement, and Nathan sees that, he immediately becomes proud of his mom, because all the other boys are looking at him like, wow, your mom is pretty awesome. And then they want to talk to him, hey, Nathan, like, what are you doing? And it creates that camaraderie with him, and it makes him feel cool. And what 8-year-old boy doesn't want to feel cool? So, you know, it just, I'm a better mother when I'm in my fitness mentality. And sometimes I get off the bandwagon just like we all do. You know, usually October, November, December, when it's cold and Halloween candy comes in the house, Thanksgiving comes, Christmas shopping, because, you know, we can only shop sometimes when they're at school, which is on our lunch break. So sometimes the gym gets pushed aside. So it's just finding that balance, and it's finding that mental balance within yourself as well. So it's just all around. It's amazing, and I love it. And if you want to start it, I would just say just start by getting in the gym one day. Make one change a day. Say, okay, I'm going to start eating breakfast, which a lot of times we don't as moms. And there's so many little things that you can do to make sure that you're getting the nutrients your body needs, because you've got to feed your body. You're going to actually do more damage than good if you go, well, I'm only going to eat 1,200 calories a day. There's no way in the world I could eat 1,200 calories a day. I would be a monster if I only ate 1,200 calories a day. Just, you know, changing your breakfast, changing what you eat for lunch, and then changing what you eat for dinner, and then making sure you have a little snacks. And when you snack at night, because, hey, we all do it, making sure you're making a healthier choice. So instead of ice cream and cookies, maybe strawberries cut up with bananas. So you're giving your body what it needs, and you're cutting back on what I call empty calories, because it's not doing your body any good if you're eating 6 cookies, because I'd say we can't just eat 2 or 1, okay? I know. Right, I'm guilty.
How do you open up a bag of chips and eat a chip? It's just not a possibility. It's a statistical anomaly is what it is, man.
I actually, to avoid that, buy the pre-bagged chips for my kids for school, so when I'm making their lunch in the morning, I'm not eating them at the same time.
Right.
So, I mean, it's little hacks, and to me, it's worth it. That extra $3 is totally worth it at the end of the month, because it lasts the same. And then they don't go stale, so you don't have to eat them because they're going to go bad.
Right. By the way, for the record, I'm 32, and I still want to feel like a cool kid. So
hey, see?
Right there. I mean, I'm just, you know, a lot of what you mentioned is self-worth, self-confidence, self-discipline. You're speaking from a lady of experience, because it wasn't too long ago that you yourself as you said, weren't exactly in the best point in your life.
No, I wasn't. I actually got into fitness. I was in a relationship for a long time, and it wasn't necessarily the best situation that I could be in. And when I got out of that, I was really down on myself, and it took me about a year of making bad decisions, drinking a lot. I went out all the time. I ate out all the time. I was at a heavier weight than when I started. I was at a weight more than when I was pregnant with either of my children. And when I stepped on the scale and I saw that, I said, I have got to make a change. And I had been active before. I'd always been, in pretty good shape. And then, obviously I went through the breakup, and hey, they say breakups make fit chicks. So, hey, they do. It's a phrase. There's so many memes on breakups make fit chicks, okay? It gave me something positive to focus on. Not only that, but when I had started going back to the gym, I had just lost my job. So I had nothing to do. I had no focus. I literally was probably at the lowest point I could have been in my life. I had almost full custody of my children at the time. So I was worn down, and I was tired. I definitely found myself through working out. I've written a few blogs about it. It definitely helped me see how much control I actually do have over my own happiness. And that is one of the biggest accomplishments I would say I have made in my life, is understanding that my happiness isn't dependent upon anything other than myself. I wake up and I am 99.9% of the time in a great mood. I try to look at the positive in everything. And then, when I started lifting weights and I started getting back into shape, I had something to focus on. And I had something that took me away from all the pain that I had suppressed for 8 years. Took me away from any of the self-worth issues I had, because I was torn down. I was not in a good place at all, mentally, physically, emotionally. I was a hot mess. But this was my tool to find myself again. And that is the biggest accomplishment I can make. And it's shown in my children as well. It took me from focusing, because I just focused on them, because they were the only positive thing I had. They were the only two, and they still are the only two people in this world that no matter what happens will need me at the end of the day. And my job as their mother is to make sure that that goes to all areas of their life. So when I teach them that you can push yourself, and they see the videos of me working out and they're like, wow, Mom, that's really cool. And then they try it and they fail epically.
It's okay, kids. If you're listening, I can't lift as much as your mom can either, so it's okay.
Which, they try, though, and they do their best.
Right.
And that's all they can do, and that's all I expect of them and ask of them. So it helped me find myself. And in finding myself, I found my confidence, and I learned what I want out of life, and I learned that patience is probably never been my strong suit. I've never really been a patient person, but it's taught me patience, because you want those changes day one, and they don't come day one. You don't start seeing those changes until 4 or 5 weeks into it. So you have to stick and be faithful and be consistent on what you're doing in order to see the results and the accomplishments that you want to make for yourself. When you're in school, you have goals and you have something to focus on. When you're in college, you have a goal. Okay, I'm going to get this class done. And then you're constantly striving for something. And then you hit graduation and it's, okay, I'm going to get a job. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into my career field. So you're constantly working on goals. But once you reach a certain age, I'm 31. So, after I graduated from school, I got a job. I've always worked in accounting to some degree from the time I was 22 on. So I already knew the field and I was already in the field. But I always had something to work towards, and I always had a goal. Well, those goals are what constantly make you push yourself. And sometimes as adults, we lose sight on the fact that we're able to have goals. And yeah, there's financial goals. There's being able to retire by a certain age. Those are all long-term goals. But sometimes accomplishing those 4-week, 5-week, 6-week, 2-month, 3-month goals, it gives you a sense of accomplishment, which makes you feel good about yourself, which makes you push yourself even harder to say, okay, I did that in 6 weeks last time. Let me do that in 4. Okay, let me do that in 2 weeks. What can I get accomplished in the next 2 to 4 weeks? And I used to hear people talk about goals, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. That's never going to happen. But then that changed when I saw that I could actually accomplish goals. So if you asked me what my 5-year plan, I would laugh in your face. I'd be like, I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. How do you expect me to tell you what I want in 5 years?
Right.
But, it just gives you a sense of accomplishment, a sense of goal achievement. And that, I think, is one of the things that really helped me build my self-confidence back up in myself. And, at the end of the day, who doesn't want to feel good about themselves? I think we all do. And I think there's so much pressure on society that, we need to just accept ourselves for who we are and for our image. Yeah, to some degree, yeah. There's some stuff we can't control. But why wouldn't you want to be a better version of yourself? I asked that question, why would you accept anything less than your best? And you're not going to achieve it today. You might not achieve it tomorrow. But at some point in time in your life, don't you want to look and say, when you're on your deathbed, no matter what's going on, do you want to look back on your life and say, man, I wish I would have done things differently? Or do you want to look back and say, you know what? I lived my life and I had a great time doing it. Now, I personally love fitness. I love lifting weights. I enjoy eating healthy. It's something that I personally love. It didn't start out that way. The whole time, my first prep, when I got my first cheat meal, I ate an entire large pizza and 16 wings, came home, and ate 4 chocolate chip cookies with ice cream. I was in a carb coma. I was carb drunk when I got home. I've never had any kind of alcohol that made me feel that way. But serious? I'm telling you.
That was my meal last night.
So, we all have those things that we want. And, there's times where you can make decisions and say, hey, you know what? I ate pizza tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to go right back on what I'm doing. It's the consistency. And that's just real life expectations. But, it did help me find my self-worth, and it did help me really give something to focus on that was positive when it seemed like everything else in my life was crumbling around me. So, yeah, it really helped me significantly.
That's awesome. I think everybody, Andrea right there, just pouring it out, giving it to you straight, no bones, just the meat. And it was like the best part of the chicken breast too, man. Just
that big juicy part.
That big juicy, just cooked right. You bite into it, it squirts out a little bit. Yeah, that's it right there. It's got the barbecue sauce. Well,
I don't do the barbecue sauce.
I was gonna say you can't do the sauce, but I can.
Absolutely,
and
have some for me.
I will. All the barbecue sauce in the world. I actually offered you a donut earlier.
When I said no,
she said, "Hell no, not doing that." When is the competition coming up that you're going to be doing? 2 weeks.
It's April 23rd.
Whoo, man.
Yeah, so it's definitely crunch time.
Right?
Yes.
How you feel? You ready? You ready to go?
I can look back at this prep so far and say I have busted my butt. I have made changes. I have made improvements to my physique. Sticking to the diet is never really a problem for me because I want the results more than I want anything else. I want to win. I'm not saying I'm going to go out and win. These girls I'm going up against, they're all pros.
Well, what's
They've
the point
all
of
done what it
if
takes.
You don't want to win, though.
I know.
Come
exactly.
on.
Exactly.
Let's just keep it 100.
We're just going to keep it real.
Yeah.
I want to win.
Come on.
My expectations, yes, I just want to go have fun.
Yeah.
I want to win. I expect to have fun, meet new people, make new friends. I've never gone to a show and not left without making 4 or 5 new friends, girls I talk to on frequent basis, Facebook, social media. We're constantly in connection with each other, whether it's complimenting on a post or saying, wow, that was amazing. Good job. You look great. And just giving those words of reassurance and,
Like a
admiring.
daily affirmation?
Yes, affirmation. Words of affirmation. Thank you.
Yeah,
if I would have read the 5 languages of love, I probably would have remembered that.
Well, and actually, I have that book at home.
That's how you knew it.
And actually, affirmation is one of my favorite words, and it's like the only way sometimes. Anyways, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, we'll leave it. Words of affirmation.
There you go. If anybody wants to find Andrea on social media, how can they find you? Facebook, Twitter,
Facebook,
Instagram.
I have my personal page and I have my athlete page. Just search Andrea Gerringer. That's Andrea. Gerringer, Gerringer, WBFF Pro. And you can find me on social media there on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at AG_WBFF Pro.
So basically, everybody just go and Google Andrea, WBFF Pro, and something's going to pop up.
Something should. Might
Something's
throw
gonna pop
Gerringer
up.
in there. I don't know if just Andrea will work. There's
Right.
probably a couple other Andreas in there.
Yeah, well, it's just like I went to high school in Derby, and, I mean, there was one classroom alone where there were like 10 Andrews.
Right?
And so they're like, Andrew, and it's like, dude, who?
Which Andrew are you talking to?
And of course, it was never me, so... yeah, I guess maybe that's why I'm 32 and I still want to be cool. Maybe if I had a cool
you
mom
are
like
the cool
you,
kids.
Yeah.
Cue the song.
Yeah, right. If I was cool now, I mean, maybe I've earned that status. I mean, Chelsea seemed to have a good time the other day with us in the press box at the Thunder game. So maybe I've hit like medium cool status, but not like the cool status. Maybe. No.
I think you've definitely hit the cool status.
If you saw the look on her face, you would know she's lying right now, everybody.
I don't lie.
Too often. All right.
No.
Everybody, that was Andrea. We're going to take a quick commercial break. 95.9 FM, the Full Court Press. I am Andrew Duncan, possibly the new cool kid on the block. We'll be right back.
Cool kid on the block.
You've been listening to the official Full Court Press podcast, hosted by myself, Drew Duncan. Don't forget, you can always find me on Twitter. That's at DrewDuncan83. Of course, the official Full Court Press podcast is on Facebook. You can also reach me there at DrewDuncan83 as well. For all you Instagrammers, I am on there at DrewDuncan83. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to the Full Court